You know, we've been partnering with law enforcement and first responders now. This is 31 years in a row that we've done this. Yeah. When I came here in 1991, we had 60-something people. And I thought, you know, we need to do something to honor our law enforcement and first responders. And we used to do a firefighters day, and then we'd do a law enforcement day, and then we'd do nurses day and a doctor's day. And I said, you know, we need to put it all into one event and make it really, really special for everybody. And so we've been able to do this every year for a long, long time. Just the 1 year with COVID when we couldn't do it. But other than that, we've been able to do it for all these years. So it's our privilege to be a part of this community and to partner with these folks. And I want to talk about that for just a few moments. I want to talk about the power of partnership. And this principle of partnership is taught to us in the Bible, specifically in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 and 10. I'll read those scriptures together because the Bible says, two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. Verse 10 says, and if one fall, the other one will lift his fellow up. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to lift him up. In these two scriptures, we see some valuable lessons about partnership. In verse number 9, it says, two working together in partnership can get more accomplished than one trying to do it alone. There's a synergy that is created. And where there is a weakness, someone can fill in for that weakness in a partnership. Where there's a strength, that partner's strength can help that partnership. So it's better to have two working together than one working alone. In verse number 10, the Bible says two working together is an encouragement to the others in the partnership. The Bible says here specifically, if one fall, the other lifts him up. Also in verse 10, it says, it's not good to not have a partner in this cooperation in the community, specifically with what we're talking about today. I thought about even the Lone Ranger had Tonto. And even Andy had Barney, right? So it's good to have a partner. In a partnership, when one falls, the other one lifts him up. Oh, how many times have I seen it where we've had a fallen hero in our community and everybody gathers around that family. Or in the case of an injured person, we gather around that person that's been injured. My friend Jerry Henderson Jr. is here today. And he was shot by a bad guy years ago. And I remember how the community gathered around him. And I remember praying for him. And many of you prayed for him, and God spared his life. And that was what I see as a way that partnership is so very important. I'd also suggest that there is an accountability in partnership. You know, accountability is a good word. People run from that word today. No one likes to be accountable. Oh, they want a job, but they don't want to be accountable for their job. They want to have a family. There are plenty of people in families today where daddies don't want to be accountable and mama don't want to be accountable. But you know, accountability is a good thing. And whether it's a family partnership or a business partnership or what we're celebrating today in this hero group that we have, there should be an accountability within this partnership. Partners help each other do right. They help each other do right. When we know that we're accountable to somebody else, it just makes us stay on the right road. And that's a good thing. And so within this hero community, we always want to make sure that we realize we have partners that are helping us to stay on the right road and to do the right thing. And hey, you need to help your partner do the right thing. If you know your partner's not doing right, you don't help that person by letting them just get away with something. Speak into their life. Help them to know that the right way is the best way. Today, our church is reminding the law enforcement and first responder community that you are not alone. You have a partner in Marcus Pointe Baptist Church. I want you to know that. We may not handcuff bad guys or we may not spray water on a burning building, but I'm going to tell you something. We are in your corner. And you have a partner in this church. We're on your side. A couple of ideas, 2 or 3 ideas about partnership. Number one, we as a church are here as partners to give spiritual direction. Now, you didn't think you was going to come to church today and not get some spiritual direction, did you? That's what we do, y'all. That's who we are. We are a church. We're not a social club. We are a church. We're not just a place that likes to meet, eat, and greet one another. We are a church, and a church is supposed to give spiritual direction. When you leave here, you'll see a big old lighthouse out in front of our church. That lighthouse reminds us that we are here to give guiding spiritual light to this community. That's what we're to do. Not only are we to give guiding light, but that lighthouse also reminds us that we are here to send out the light of the gospel to people that need to hear that Jesus can change a life. I was talking with a law officer this past week, and he said he's been doing it now long enough to where he's starting to see some of those people that he put in jail 20 years ago. He's starting to run into them on the streets. And I said, well, that's kind of scary, isn't it? He goes, well, you know, the truth is most of them say to me, thank you for putting me in jail. It's the best thing ever happened to me. Well, some of them are lying, but anyway, it's true. And I tell people all the time, I'll have mamas and their children have gone bad and they're doing the wrong things, and they say, Pastor, what should I do? I say, call the cops, tell them to put them in jail. Come on, preacher. Yeah, put them in jail, because sometimes they need to be put in jail to come face to face with what they're doing in life is not right. They need to come face to face with their problems so that they maybe can hear the truth of how Jesus can come into their life and save them from their wrong living and change their lives. A church is here to tell people the truth about who Jesus is. And sometimes you got to tell people, hey, let them suffer the consequences of what they're doing. They're not doing right. They need to face up to what they're doing. So our partners here that are in law enforcement, man, you don't need to back up to anybody. You're doing the right thing. You're helping this community, and many times you're helping us spread the gospel. I want to encourage those that at the police department and in the sheriff's department in this area here, thank you for allowing us and others. I see Chaplain Leggett here, and Bill Heiss is one of our guys that goes into the jail. Thank you for allowing us to go into the jail and present the gospel and tell people how they can find the truth that can change their life where they are right there at that point in time. I've had people say to me, oh, that's just jailhouse religion. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Jailhouse religion is no better than no religion at all. There perhaps will get maybe something in jail that they couldn't get somewhere else. Maybe they'll find Jesus. So as a church, we are partnering with this community to share the gospel. We want to be partners with law enforcement and first responders to help people on their spiritual journey. Everybody in this room is a three-part being: body, soul, and spirit. And all of us need to function at the best level we can in body, soul, and spirit. To be the best person that you can be, all three of these need to be developed: body, soul, and spirit. A lot of folks go through life and they think, well, if I just get all I can and can all I get and just rise to the highest level I can in society, then I'm going to be happy. Well, that's not always true. And you're not going to always be as successful as you could be or should be. Listen, friend, you need to have your body, soul, and spirit developed to the highest level that it possibly can be developed. And we are here as a church to help you develop spiritually. And as a church, we need to be interactive with law enforcement and first responders. We need to be involved. I loved it when they asked Jeremy to come down there and sing. I didn't like it when they tried to hire him. That's a bad thing. You try that, Chip, we'll have to vote you out. We'll get you voted out. Don't mess with me. I like it when we're down there at the sheriff's department. I love it when they ask me to come down and pray at the county commission. I love it when we are a part of what's going on in the community and we're interactive and I see our people are involved. I mentioned Bill Heiss a moment ago. Bill Heiss was a bad dude. I mean, a bad dude. Worse. Well, there's a few of y'all that were worse than him, but he was worse than most of y'all. And he went to jail and God saved him and changed his life. And now he, along with Chaplain Leggett and others, are out there in the ministry, doing the ministry in the jail. That's church being involved. And some people say, well, we don't think that church and state ought to ever be mixed. Well, you crazy is what your problem is. You crazy. Sorry. It's not right. That's not you. Somebody sold you a bill of goods. Somebody lied to you. That's not true. The state shouldn't be telling the church what to do, but the church ought to be holding the state accountable for doing the right thing. And every chance we get, we ought to be praying down at the county commission. We ought to be down at the jail working with those officers down there. Every chance we get, we ought to be bringing these folks to our church to hear the gospel and to see the truth and know that there's a better way. This is a good way. This is the right way. This is the way that it used to be done. It's been done like this for years in our country, and then all of a sudden we got these liberal politicians think that they got a better way and that they need to get the church out of dealing with the state and that we shouldn't be able to mention God in the public arena and that everything should be secularized. Friends, listen to me. That's straight out of hell itself. That's not the way it should be. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on now. We need to be interactive. We need to be involved. And every now and then, I'll have a few say to me, well, I'm just going to not come to the church anymore because you talk too much about politics. Well, first of all, that's not true. That's not true. I hardly ever talk about politics. Occasionally, when it's appropriate, I will mention certain things. But listen to me, it's not really about politics. It's about doing the right thing and getting back to a morality in our country that is vitally important and not allowing this liberal idea of anything is okay and anything goes and every man does that which is right in his own mind. We need to make sure that we are fighting that idea. That's what I'm about here from this pulpit. It's not about Republicans and Democrats, although I lean more towards one than the other. But that's just because, anyway, I'm not going there. We need to be interactive. We need to be involved. We need to get people to be a part. And these guys appreciate it. Man, they appreciate it when they see the church helping, bringing meals, or counseling. I pray and counsel with numerous first responders and law enforcement people in my office. I pray and counsel with numerous people just because they know that our church is here to give them some spiritual direction. So in this partnership, we're to give spiritual direction. Number 2, write it down. We are here to foster unity in the community. Unity in the community. Amos 3:3 says this: can 2 walk together except they be agreed? Well, the obvious answer is no. We have to be on the same page. We have to have unity. Now, unity doesn't mean uniformity. Now, there's a certain amount of uniformity that has to happen in law enforcement. I understand that. But it doesn't mean that everybody has to like the same kind of music. I mean, Butch said he doesn't necessarily like country music. Well, I'm sorry, I do. But anyway, some of it. It doesn't mean you have to like the same kind of music. It doesn't mean that you always have to dress the same. Man, I love the new sheriffs. Jeremy told me they're down there wearing those Stetson hats now. I like that. But you don't have to wear a Stetson hat. What I'm saying is uniform. We don't have to be uniformed as a community. We're all different colors. We're all different backgrounds. We're all different financial and educational background. That's good. That's okay. Everybody doesn't have to look and be exactly the same. But there must be unity in the community, not uniformity. We got to be together. And our church is committed to being a part of helping our community come together and helping these that serve in the community to bring about unity in the community. It's sad how some in the press try to divide law enforcement from the community. It's sad. And it's wrong. They'll take the bad actions of 1 or 2 cops and use that as a tool of division. Right? Am I telling the truth? That's wrong. Think about this. There are millions of cops. There are millions of people in the law enforcement community in America. But what do? They major on 5 or 10 throughout the country that do the wrong thing. Think about that. 5 or 10 bad eggs out of all the billions of people that are serving as first responders and cops and serving the community, and you get 5 or 10 that do wrong, and that's all they talk about. What are they doing? Well, I believe that it's an anti-law enforcement mentality that is prevalent in the liberal side of things that needs to be stopped because they're trying to drive wedges between law enforcement, the authority in the country, and us. It's wrong. It's not law enforcement and first responders that are the enemy, nor the problem in America. The problem in America is the murderers and the gang members and the drug dealers and the arsonists and the pornographers and the pedophiles. Those are the enemy, y'all. It's not these that are heroes. So we need to partner with law enforcement and first responders in the community to be reminded that we all are on the same team. We are partners. I read this stat. 2021, 97 firefighters, 155 police officers, and 68 paramedics gave their life in the line of duty. Let me read those numbers again. 155 police officers, 97 firefighters, and 68 paramedics gave their life in the line of duty. The average age of those that died was 47 years old. As a community, as a church, we need to let each officer and each first responder know that we walk together with them. We are agreed with them, as Amos 3:3 says. We need to pray for their protection. We need to pray for their prosperity and for favor from God on their lives. And I know there's not a one of them in this room today that would not appreciate us praying for the favor of God on their life. And we need to do that. So, we are well, look at this. It's raining. I can just go on and on and on because y'all can't leave. Nobody wants to leave and go out in the rain, so I'll just keep going. Yeah. Some of them just, and yeah. We're here to be a spiritual light. We're here to foster unity in the community. And finally, number 3, those words that every person in the pew likes to hear the preacher say, finally. But don't get excited, because sometimes I say finally 3 or 4 times. Like one preacher said, sometimes I just like to close so much that I close 4 or 5 times. Number 3, write it down. We must all do our part in the partnership. It can't just be a few. It has to be everyone. Think about this with me. Jesus called 12 disciples to work together to form what we see today as the church. Are you listening? Jesus staked the future of the church on 12 men. What happened? One of those was a Judas. One of them was not good. But Jesus didn't stop the church. He told the church how to handle it when 1 out of 12 is not good. And he gave them the tenets of the New Testament. He said, partner together, you 11. He said, love one another, you 11. He said, focus on God and not the circumstances, you 11. He said, stick together through thick and thin, you 11. He said, live right and always be about reaching new people, you 11. And he said, if you 11 will stick together and not let anything divide you 11 up, one day you will see a force to be reckoned with on this earth for good and for God. And you're seeing today on this earth billions of people that know God, billions of people that are connected to one another through what we call the church. And it all began because 11 men said, we will not let one Judas destroy what God said he was going to bless. And I say to you today, for us, we are in partnership with these heroes, and we will not let a few of them destroy the partnership. We will always love one another. We'll stick together. We'll call each other into accountability. We'll do our best to grow in spiritual things. We'll do our best to know God and to love God and to always make that a prerequisite of the partnership. And I say to all of us today, we can do our part, and we must do our part in order to make this partnership strong. As a church, we'll do our part. For those of you that are in law enforcement, first responders, those of you that serve in government, you do your part. And as we partner together, the best is yet to be. It's not over in this country. Our community can be better. The best is yet to be if we'll all pledge ourselves to partner in this great work that God has called us to do, serving together, presenting the gospel from a church, spiritually speaking, building this community up, praying for these that are in law enforcement, praying for those that serve in our community. And as we partner together, I promise you this community can be better. I promise you the best is yet to be. Thank God for partnership, the partnership that we have, you and I together with law enforcement. We can work together to make our community the best.